Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. An important issue regarding Islamic punishments is the notion of the testimony of a woman being half that of a man. Our jurists think, they are of the firm opinion that the testimony of a woman is half that of a man. In most cases, they do not accept the testimony of a woman at all. However, in some cases in which they do, they think that it is always half that of a man. There are jurists who, in cases of circumstantial evidence also, they accept the testimony of a woman to be half that of a man, but they are very few people. As I said, most of our jurists, they do not accept the testimony of a lady in cases of hudud. Hudud are the punishments which have been ordained by the Almighty regarding certain crimes. Now, these jurists base their opinion on a certain verse of the Quran, and I'll read out that verse to you. The verse says, وَاسْتَشْهِدُوا شَهِيدَيْنِ مِنْ رِجَالِكُمْ فَإِنْ لَمْ يَكُونَا رَجُلَيْنِ فَرَجُلٌ وَامْرَأَتَانِ مِمَّنْ تَرْضَوْنَ مِنَ الشُّهَدَاءِ أَنْ تَضِلَّ إِحْدَاهُمَا فَتُذَكِّرَ إِحْدَاهُمَا الْأُخْرَى. And call in 2 male witnesses from among your men. And if 2 men cannot be found, then 1 man and 2 women from among those whom you deem appropriate as witnesses, so that if either of them gets confused, the other reminds her. Now, on the basis of this verse, it is concluded that the testimony of a woman is half that of a man. Now, if we study this verse in its proper context, 2 things become absolutely clear. This verse has nothing to do with the judicial forum. It is not that a judicial forum or a court is being addressed and said that if witnesses come to you in such and such a manner, then their testimony shall be acceptable in this way. This verse has come in the context of a social advice given to Muslims. If you study the context of this whole verse, we come to realize that this verse has been revealed with a particular context, and the context is that when people they lend out money to each other, then they must write a document of that loan, so that one must safeguard the rights and obligations of the 2 parties. And on this document of loan, witnesses should be called over, so that there are other people who can testify to the whole deal. Now, this is the whole context in which this verse has been revealed, and as I said, it is primarily a social advice given to people so that they do not end up fighting with each other on such issues. And the other important thing is that this verse specifically speaks of documentary evidence. And in documentary evidence, of course, there is one major difference which totally makes it different and distinguishes it from circumstantial evidence in which crimes take place, for example. In documentary evidence, you select and choose the witnesses. It's up to you to choose whomever you want to as witnesses. Whilst in circumstantial evidence, this is not up to you. Whoever is there at the site of the crime, he or she has to be regarded as the witness. So therefore, any law which is made on the basis of a documentary evidence regarding witnesses cannot be extended to circumstantial evidence, because primarily the nature of the 2 is entirely different. As I said, in one, the witness is selected by the people themselves, and the other, in the circumstantial evidence, in the case of circumstantial evidence, the witnesses are selected by the Almighty. Whoever is there on the site of the crime has to be regarded as a witness. So in this case, no law can be made on the basis of documentary evidence which should extend to circumstantial evidence also. And in this regard, the final word of the Quran is, if we study this whole matter in its proper context, that there is absolutely no difference between the testimony of a man or a woman as far as the legal sense is concerned. If a judge is satisfied with the witness of a lady in certain cases, he can pass his verdict according to that. He can accept her testimony, and he can, of course, reject her testimony if there are 2 or 3 women. Similarly, if he is not satisfied with the verdict of 5 or 6 witnesses, he can still reject them. So in this case, the primary thing is that in matters of circumstantial evidence, in matters of crime, it is primarily up to the judge to decide who to accept as a witness. The Quran has not at all said that in all such cases of circumstantial evidence, the testimony of a lady is half that of a man. As I said, this verse primarily pertains to a social advice which is given to the Muslims, and also if there is no law which on the basis of this verse can be enacted for crimes or for circumstantial evidence, which requires circumstantial evidence, simply because the nature of the 2 are entirely different. As I said, in the first of them, the witnesses is selected by people themselves. And in the second, in the case of a crime, we cannot obviously select a person as a witness. So therefore, we can say that the testimony of a woman is incorrect to say that the testimony of a lady is half that of the man. In all such cases where a crime has to be proven, where a crime has to be validated, it is left to the discretion of the judge to see whether he should accept a lady or a man as a witness. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات.